today we got another special episode. And you've been following this guy for quite some time. I called on him after some unfortunate events, but just going through his stuff, he's been doing a little bit of everything. Work with Shade 4 at 5, WWE, Serious, Wrestle Rap, the man himself. We got Emilio Sparks. What's going on?
You heard what's going on, guys?
Going on with you, man. So, first thing I want to ask you, you combine two of my favorite things, wrestling and rap, and you combine that into one entity. Dopest shit I've seen, man. So, I just got to know, because I know you're one of the co-creators, my boy Mills. Mills is my homie. I just want to know, how did y'all come up with Wrestle Rap?
Oh, Meals is a good dude, man. Shout out Meals and OG Johnny 5 on the A show.
Yes, sir.
Honestly, it happened as a hashtag, a WrestleMania weekend between Kaz and a buddy of ours named Ernest. And it was just this thing that grew into this thing, it started as a hashtag, then it became a website, then from a website it became a podcast, and from the podcast it's been this, whatever it is now, you know what I mean? Like, I like to say that Wrestle Rap is whatever you want it to be in regards to your fandom in both music and pop culture and professional wrestling. So it is what it is, like whatever you want it to be, it's that thing.
Yeah, because it's crazy, because a lot of people don't know like how hand in hand those two go together,
Right. You know what it is? It's just something over the years that we learned that they're not even strange bedfellows, but they're bedfellows. And it's just, the rap game is a lot like professional wrestling, and professional wrestling is a lot like the rap game in many ways. There's nothing that separates Rick Ross from The Undertaker. Essentially, The Undertaker has been doing the same gimmick for 30 years. Rick Ross has been doing the same gimmick for about 15. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? Both of them live in the gimmick. Both of them protect their kayfabe. One just raps and talks about street shit, and then the other is a walking Maccabee that wants to.
I've never really thought about that parallel.
Yeah, it's a crazy. Go ahead, man. My bad.
No, think about it. That's the way it is.
No, because I remember like back in the day when WWF, they released that rap album, and when they had all the different rappers rapping over the different things. I remember the whole Snoop Dogg and Dub C did the Stone Cold thing, man. That was like, that shit was so crazy to me, man.
It's funny. R.A. the Rugged Man came to Shade 45 one day, and we were talking about that album, and he was like, yeah, that was one of my first platinum records. Was that album? Yeah, that album was platinum. I think he did Chris Jericho's song. I'm not too familiar. I don't remember the album that well. You know what I mean? It's been years since I've listened to it, but I remember the conversation. We were talking about that album, and he was like, yeah, one of my first platinum records.
Now, you just talked about the parallels between rap and wrestling, and we've been seeing a lot more of that lately, especially with the current times with the pandemic. Like, you're seeing Wale now making music for Big E, West Side Guns. They got the Hurt Business thing going on. What more parallels do you know of that maybe me and Ant in the wrestling world may not be aware of?
I just think like one of my favorite indie guys, his name is Brian Keith. He signed to Swisher House. He's a pro wrestler. Yeah. And he comes out to Still Tipping. You know what I mean? Like, he signed to Swisher House. Right. Yeah, and it's fun. I gotta have Brian. I'm gonna have Brian on Wrestle Rap soon, because I want to know the whole story. I want to know, how does that happen? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Paul Wall was on that record. He's the people's champ. Like, to me, that's just, it's one of the best rap songs in like the last, 30 years.
It's so legendary. I mean, you got Slim Thug coming out. Look who creeping, look who crawling, still balling in the mix. My shit, man.
It's Gucci shades all up in his braids when he escalates. I mean, come on, like, you would think about it like, okay, it's a simple structure in context, but the way he presents it and the way he, like, his cadence on that entire record, he just owns the record. And
You know,
it's a definitely a contrast in styles between Thug, Paul Wall, and Mike Jones, who at that point was just everywhere. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I used to call the number on the T-shirt just to speak to Mike Jones. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and,
um,
and,
yeah,
and the craziest part when I heard the song for the first time, I'm like, why does guy sound like a chopped and screwed little flip? You know, it threw me
right.
off. Like I
Right,
didn't
but that was
know.
him. But that was him. He was
Yeah,
Boss Hog. I remember, like,
yeah.
oh my God, Pharrell signed him. This is like the next big thing. And then he came out, and it was just this phenomenal record. And
Oh my god.
oh man, I think even around the pandemic, he put out an album. I forgot the name of it, but
I know. I know. Well, I wonder if it was Sugar Daddy Slim or something like that. I think that's what it
something.
was.
So I gotta check. You know what I mean? I haven't gone on Spotify. I try to keep my ears like rested in between editing and only like I listen to a lot of like hip hop music now when I'm working out at the gym. But other than that, like I try to sit in quiet because tinnitus is so real. The ears ring so bad. So it's like, all
Man.
right, let's fix that real quick.
Now, when we got on the phone and we were, setting up this interview, you were talking about your love for the D, and it was kind of wild because Makazi, who said I have to make sure I tune into this episode, he professed his love for the D, and it was just weird. And it was just wild, like wow, a lot of people in who work in wrestling have love for Detroit. So, can you expound upon your love for the city of the D?
So so I don't know, man. It was during college radio and I was searching for just really dope artists, right? Like this is I don't know, this is dating back, I don't know, maybe 2004, maybe 2005. And I don't know, college radio was just the thing. It was this gateway for me to learn about other MCs and other producers that weren't just in my backyard. You know what I mean? Like it was more I wanted a national thing, you know. I wanted to play records from everybody, from everybody. So I would get records from Say It Ain't Tone. I would get records from Rose Spit. I would, big shout outs to Cliff Skywalker, man. Like,
Wow.
you
Yeah,
know,
Cliff. That's my
yeah,
dog.
I was getting records, and my love for Detroit really grew from there. Like Kid Vicious, and I was really just getting into just really dope rappers, that may or may not have had an opportunity to get their records played anywhere outside of the D. You know, so to me that was always what it was. And then when I got to Shade, it even intensified even more because of the whole connection to Detroit and Eminem and all that, like methodology and like involved in that. So it was like, to me it was like, whoa, okay, this music's really good, like really solid. It's a completely different lifestyle on its own. It has its own like lexicon, it has its own vibe, it had like, and to me that's why I think if you're a radio presenter or a DJ or whatever, you should definitely always go outside of your backyard and really start to get an understanding of the different landscapes within the genre of hip hop music, because it's all completely different. So Detroit rap, yeah, really holds a special place in my heart for like 3 years.
Now, who of the artists that you have heard did you feel like at this time from Detroit should have or broken out, or maybe they're underrated to mainstream media?
Oh, Say It Ain't Tone. Oh, it's definitely Say It Ain't Tone. I mean, he was, running around with Sean, and big shout out to Sean. I mean, Detroit. But even then, I was playing early Sean back then. And actually, my
Mhm.
one of my first interviews was with Big Sean, and when he was up in New York at why am I drawing a brain? The Knitting Factory. I was about to say why am I drawing a brain fart, but it was at the Knitting Factory. I was stupid young, and I heard the mixtape. He told the story about rapping for Kanye at the radio station, and
Yep.
so much so that he put that interview that we did on his face on his not his Facebook, his MySpace
Oh
profile.
yeah, man.
So I was on his like
That's
MySpace profile
wild.
for months. It was crazy. But yeah, definitely I would say Say It Ain't Tone. Say It Ain't Tone should be bigger. He did a record for me and my buddy John when we did the Sparks Foundation EP, where we just were like mashing up like hip hop records and wrestling theme songs. Like we had whole bunch of producers come in and chop them up and whatever. And we had a record with Raven Justice, Say It Ain't Tone, and Dave East over Kurt Angle's theme song.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Hold on,
it's a
hold on. Could you repeat those names again? You said Dave East.
Dave East, Raven
Say It Ain't.
Justice, and Say It Ain't Tone.
That's an interesting combination right there. Over the Kurt Angle instrument.
Oh, but yeah. And
Yeah,
but the producer flipped and chopped it.
flipped and chopped it. Yeah, made it. That's
Yeah,
interesting. I got to hear that. I
yeah,
never
man.
knew that.
Yeah, the producer's name is Billy Jones. He killed it.
Oh man, that's crazy. I got to hear that shit. That's incredible.
I'll text the links to Corey. I think they're on like SoundCloud or whatever. I don't know. This was during the days when you still would upload stuff to like Zshare and make an upload.
Ooh, that's a long time ago.
Oh man,
But
that's a long time ago.
I think I still have them somewhere though. We have two projects. It was called Forever Madness, the Macho Man Randy Savage EP, and then we did Parts Unknown. Yeah. So
speaking of Macho Man, have you seen the Macho Man biography on A&E yet?
Yeah, I did.
What did you think about it?
I didn't like it.
Didn't like it?
No, it kind of felt like the self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior at certain points.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of because remember Bischoff said if you would have known it was going to be like this, him and his wife wouldn't have did that episode. So
exactly,
that's how ridiculous it was.
It's like, all right, well, like they're telling stories one we already know, but like the man's not here to say them, and nor is Elizabeth. So you really like everything's all hearsay. Yeah, it could be actual factual for all we know. And maybe he was just in kayfabe and they were working everybody. I don't know, but you're gonna say that you were using performance enhancing drugs only in WCW.
Yeah,
and then Hogan's gonna come on and say, "Well, you didn't upstage us, brother, in WrestleMania 3, brother."
Yeah, that off rip. Just knowing what I know about wrestling history, the fact that Hogan was even in the doc speaking on Macho Man, that immediately turned me off from wanting to finish it.
Well, I mean, listen, that I can understand for a myriad of reasons why Hulk Hogan would anybody would be turned off to listen to Hulk Hogan speak nowadays. But to be honest with you, their DNA is so intertwined together that they're stuck. Even if Savage was alive today, people would still bring up Hulk Hogan. It's just a matter of like they're together. Like you can't tell me a bigger heel in professional wrestling for the WWE at that time than Macho Man Randy Savage. Maybe the biggest heel in wrestling at that time, like overall, just across the board, when they went national.
Yeah, I mean, shit, Macho Man released a damn diss song against Hogan. So, it's just gotta be, it's just like, they're always gonna be intertwined. When you go that route, yeah, it's just, yeah.
Oh, totally. So, I mean, you got to go on there and history. The one thing I think we've learned is that history is so revisionary.
Mm-hmm.
The winner gets to tell the story, and it may not be the right story, but it's the story. So, take that with a grain of salt, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, most definitely. Yeah. So I want to get into your time in WWE. You were a senior producer over there, over the podcast.
Yes, sir. I had a cup of coffee there, but I think I kind of made a little impact. They're still up and running, so I got all right, cool, congratulations. But I had a little cup of coffee there. I had a little stint.
Can you?
I love the Macho Man reference, by the way. Cup of coffee in the big time.
Cup of coffee. Yeah,
definitely had a cup of coffee in the big time.
Can you?
I don't know.
Can you walk us through your cup of coffee while there?
Yeah, what do you want to know?
Well, just a bit much about some of the work, some of the podcasts that you worked on, and just your experiences as a producer there.
Well, first off, everybody behind the scenes in the office, they're great. I mean, from the tippy top to to the interns. Everybody in that office is just hard work, and they'll put in like a 20-hour day and then get up and do it again tomorrow. It's a 24/7 business. It's kind of like I always make the reference, like it was like the sun never sets on the English Empire at one time. Well, the sun never sets in WWE because anywhere around the world, somebody's watching a WWE television program. And everybody works hard there. They're really, really cool people. Like it really opened my mind to how the other end of the professional wrestling business works. Not just the things that you see on television, but the behind the scenes TV and then the behind the scenes social media stuff and editorial and all that really, really cool stuff. So when you go there, you first feel like, oh man, this is a lot to figure out. But like a week in the game, you're there and you're like, okay, I got to link with this one, this one, this one, this one, do this, and this. So, being part of something that's, I don't know, maybe 85 years old and coming in and creating this brand new thing, man, I'm extremely grateful for that opportunity and the people that hired me to do that job for that particular moment, because it did not exist before I was there. I was one of 3 people that really helped launch and initiate this podcasting network. And, I had a really good opportunity to have my voice be heard and to tell the professional wrestling stories that I wanted to tell in the forms of After the Bell, hosted by Corey Graves, and Feel the Power, hosted by New Day. Those were the 2 shows that I developed and nurtured and nurtured and launched, and they're doing as great as they are now. So
And that was probably like the smartest thing too, is to give Corey Graves a podcast.
he's great. He's
yeah,
great.
man. It's awesome. I mean, even New Day too.
Yeah,
like both of those. You know what I'm saying? It's just great fucking idea for that.
Well, you know what it is, Ann? I was always under the impression or under the guise of you have to tell interesting story and you have to have really good storytellers to do so. Not everybody's built for podcasting. Not everybody's built to sit and tell a story. But I was just always so impressed with what Graves would do on a microphone and where he would pick and choose his spots to come in, and how comfortable he really is behind the microphone, having this second like career where his professional wrestling career ends. The real journey, in my opinion, for him starts the moment he puts the headphones on and he starts calling a match. And I think that's where he really finds himself. And I think he's just so talented and just a good guy to sit and talk to as well. Like I really enjoy even the one-on-ones that I speak to Graves about. He's a really, really good guy. He's very, very funny. He's got a really sharp, piercing, dry wit. So he was my only choice. Absolutely my only choice. And I was like, this is the guy. If I want somebody explaining professional wrestling to me and talking about it, when you got to talk about all 3 brands and then you have to come on and have a host come on and have a guest come on, it's him. He's the guy. And I love what they're doing now with him and Vic Joseph. I love the back and forth.
The dynamic and everything.
They're great. And Vic Joseph's another talented dude as well, man. So I really love the dynamic between them. It's more like less podcasty, if that makes sense, and more like morning radio kind of, without the zaniness of it. It's just 2 friends legitimately talking and having a good time. So to me, that was one of the joys. And then the New Day's just great. I mean, how can you not just enjoy what those guys do and how they just interact with each other? They're just interesting. Just 3 different guys with 3 different methodologies and 3 different walks of life. And they're just incredible, So to work with everybody there was just, honestly, it was a pleasure. It was a really, really great learning experience, man. The whole 9. I don't have a negative thing to say. It was brief, but I loved every minute of it. It was cool. So cheers to everybody over there.
And we got a hell of a show for you today. I love bringing in people who just, I don't want to say that we had the same grind, but we've seen each other grow through the same type of grind, same area, just trying to make something happen out of nothing. And the guy I got, hey, we talking about the music. If you heard music at not the Palace, but hey, probably at the Palace, Detroit Pistons, University of Michigan. Who else? And how can I forget the NFL freaking network? Sounds of the playoffs the past couple of years. Michigan's own, the one, the only. What up, PL?
What up, though?
Ain't even had to say anything. Goddamn, boy.
Yeah, he said that was a lie. Are we done?
Yeah, we done. We ain't got.
Gave you a hell of an introduction, man.
wrap it up. What's going on, man?
What's
Long
good?
time no see. We talked, but I think the last time I seen you was when I got the Wolverines hoodie from you.
Yeah. And
which I rock faithfully.
I got y'all black hoodies. I got y'all, though, I promise.
I appreciate that for sure, bro.
For sure.
So, man, I just had to bring you in and just talk because, you have such an amazing story to tell. I've always been a fan of your work. I mean, from Fresher to You to, I'm single, hey, I'm letting y'all know, when I get married, whenever the hell that is, whenever I get married, whenever the hell it is,
Take your time. Trust
you
me.
know, when they do the whole, you know, I guess you say garter toss or whatever, I'm hiring PL to perform I'm single because I'm gonna throw it up and all the guys gotta catch that
Hey.
when that happens. So, you know, we'll talk about that whenever that time comes.
Yeah. Just let me know.
When
When you find her.
But man, you know, you went from having a great career in Michigan, and now you're still having a great career in Michigan, but you went and transferred over to making these sounds for these pro teams. And I ain't gonna front, I didn't know you were doing that. So when I saw it, I'm like, okay, that's what's up. He got one.
Yeah.
Then it was another one. And it was another one.
Yeah, they was just coming
then
back to
I'm
back
just
like
like,
that, dog.
damn.
Like,
So,
boy.
yo, can you just like walk us through like how did that, like where did it start at from there? And then you know, leave us where did it come from?
Well, a long time ago, probably like 2011, I think. I made a song for NBA 2K. They had like a contest, and I made a song called In the Zone, and it didn't get picked. But it was like one of the really popular songs that everyone said that they wanted on the game, and it kind of went viral. You know, like I still get like thousands of streams a month off of that song. I think we're over like 7 million streams collectively. Yeah. So like that took off, and I would get like letters from ASCAP, which is my, you know, royalty situation, and they would say like, yo, the Dallas Mavericks just ran In the Zone, or, you know, the Pistons or the Bulls, ESPN, and it's in these cue sheets, you know. I'm sure you guys are familiar.
Yep.
And so I was like, yo, like maybe I could really, you know, do this. But I never tapped into it until a good friend of mine named Drew, I used to work with him at this clothing store a long time ago in Ann Arbor, and he kind of climbed the ranks from working with the Lions to interning with the NFL, and now he's at the NFL Network. He's like a senior producer. Shout out to Drew. But he actually had been hitting me on Facebook for weeks, like trying to get me to do, you know, some music. And I only logged into one Facebook account. My other one got hacked, so I wasn't getting the messages. And a good friend of ours, you know, he just hit him, a mutual friend of ours, and he was just like, yo, man, Drew's trying to get in contact with you. I think he's working with the NFL now. You know, he wants to do some work. And they just wanted me to do one song. But I totally was just like, man, this is my opportunity. So I did like 7. And they were like on the spot, like, yo, do you want to sign a contract to do the entire season for Thursday Night Football? And I'm like, I knew that, you know, I could do it, but at the time I didn't have like a studio in my house yet or anything. So it was just like, whoa, this is more than I can chew. But at the same time,
Can't let that go.
I can't. I just have to adapt. So I signed for like 18 songs, and I was just kind of doing it with some cheap equipment, and they still was rolling with it. Like, it was crazy. But I was mixing it to the best of my ability. And then after I got that check, I just went crazy and bought everything for the crib. Like, to the point where I actually, this is a wild story. My wife, she gonna kill me, but we went broke. You know what I'm saying? Because I blew all the money on equipment, and then we had just got married. And so it was like, yo, baby, I need this equipment.
First fight.
Yeah. And we
fight.
were, man, it was bad.
I gotta ask you, did you get a chaotic eyeball too?
You say what?
Did you get the chaotic eyeball?
No.
Oh, okay.
I went so crazy to where I didn't even need that.
No, yeah,
you know what I'm
you
saying?
probably
Like, I
built
had
everything
foam
in there.
everywhere.
Yeah,
it was
so
crazy.
you-
It was
yeah, you
crazy.
just been-
Yeah. But no, that's how it started, and that was the first season that I did, and now, you know, well, the second season they had me doing playoffs, the Super Bowl. I did Deion Sanders' show, Game Day Prime. I did everything, man. And now it's like I just got done doing the NFL draft. We got Thursday Night Football coming up. You know, like you said, I do the playoffs now, and it just spiraled into a huge blessing, man.
I'm
real.
smiling because I'm like,
That's
I
fire,
seen the
man.
grind
Yeah,
firsthand.
so
So it's
fire,
like,
God.
damn.
Nah, man, that's all God.
That's what's up. So how long you been doing with the NFL now?
This is my 5th season with the NFL.
Okay.
Yeah, 5th season.
And from there, like, from doing the NFL, who else have you worked with?
So I worked with the Brooklyn Nets. I did some stuff like, I don't know if y'all remember when Karis LeVert got hurt. I did like a comeback song for them for him. I just finished working with the Phoenix Mercury for the WNBA, so I got their intro. I think they about to tip off like their first home game in like 6 or 7 days, so I'm really looking forward to that because I've never experienced that culture musically like with the WNBA, but I hear it's like way more hyper than the league. You know what I'm saying? They take it a lot more serious. It's like a big culture, so I'm excited for that. Who else? Michigan Wolverines, of course, basketball and football. I was really heavily involved this year for that tournament run. They were using my music pretty heavily.
I know when I was at Chrysler Center when everything was all normal, I'm like, yo, that's P.
Yeah.
I hear it, and it's like, all right, let's go, let's go.
And me and my boy, shout out to DJ Array. He's the official DJ for the basketball and football team, Michigan basketball and football team, and we put together a song called Blue that really rocked. And it's a music dude over there named Kurt Weisenbaugh, and he's kind of the dude you got to get through to, to make something official. And this was my second time dealing with him, and this time around it was like, yo, PL, we really, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It felt good because the first time, you know how you just got to grind and get through those certain people who seemingly are like walls. It was like, man, come on, Kurt, answer your email. Hey, man, this is PL, hey, blah, blah, and this time it was like kind of quick, like, yeah, PL, we rocking with this, man. This is dope. So, and then, of course, the Pistons, that's the family all day. I've done countless songs for the Pistons. When you in the halls, before the game or whatever, you'll hear like a lot of little songs that I put together that you can only hear through there. I got a song that they play right out of halftime. I did a halftime show with them.
Yeah, I peeped that.
A lot of stuff with the Pistons.
You did the that dunk contest.
Yeah.
And that was crazy. And that was also crazy too because
we ran into each other.
Not only that, ran into each other. Chris Staples was in there.
Yeah.
And that's like also that's like
that's
because we all in the same area. So it's like, yo, this is crazy. Like people that I grew up with in that that 20 stage, we all in the same spot working. It's going crazy.
Yeah, of course.
So do you have like a personal favorite track you've done so far, like in this run?
Yeah, man. I did. So last year, well, no, not last year. The year before was the 100th season for the NFL. And they had this big thing called NFL 100. And they were just commemorating teams and players, that were really dope. And they just wanted to kind of like show the love through music. So, man, I think I did like 43 songs, not including like Thursday Night Football and the playoffs and the Super Bowl, but just strictly for like these teams. Like I'm rapping about John Elway, Joe Namath, the triplets, everyone, Barry Sanders, Shannon Sharp, like literally everybody. And I did this song for Walter Payton. And y'all know who Walter Payton was and is. You know what I'm saying? He's still the man, and he's no longer with us, but he was a legend, man. And I did this song about him, and it was like a minute and a half long. And I felt like it was going to be cool, but it was a lot of like feeling that I had into it that was super personal because I rocked with Walter Payton. You know what I'm saying? From what I seen. And so, and I know his son. So we put the song together. I sent it in, and man, it was like overwhelming, like the love that I got from it. You know what I'm saying? Like they still play the song on his anniversary, his birthday. Like the Chicago Bears like played the song. They posted it. They posted it on Walter Payton's page, and it was really one of those things to where like I got tight with the uppers at the NFL Network. You know what I'm saying? It just that transcended like a lot of things for me.
How
You know what I'm
how
saying?
surreal was that?
It was like it was one of those situations to where like I get love, but I was getting love from people that are doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. Like I said, Walter Payton's son, that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he reaches out all the time. Like, man, how you doing? I like your music. What you got coming up? Type stuff. And he's the man. You know what I'm saying? So it was love. It was love.
Yeah, man. So, you know, you talked about who you worked with. Is there anybody any player, any athlete, any team that you would like to, you know, hey, I want to work with them? Who's your dream right now?
My dream. Two teams. One of my favorite teams ever is the Dallas Mavericks. Like, you say what? What was that? Where did that come from? The Dallas Mavericks is one of my favorite teams ever. You know what I'm saying? And when they went on that championship run, when they beat Bron and all that, I was like the only person in the room rooting for them.
Yeah, I remember that because I was like the only person I know that is a true Dallas Mavericks fan is PL.
And you know what? And I see you was going crazy on Twitter about that too, man. It was so random, dog. Like this, like it's the most. It was so random. Like out of all teams, you a Dallas Mavericks fan, but
man. And it's y'all can ask my mom, man. Like my mom used to be telling me, like, why are you don't want no Detroit Pistons? I was like, no, I want a Dallas Mavericks hat. You know what I'm saying? So I rock with the Mavericks, and when they won, that was crazy.
No, you can't fake that shit.
No,
you can't fake that. You can't.
Everybody
fake that.
know.
Everybody like for real. It was just like his effing team won. What?
But no, I want to make some music with them, and I want to make some music for the Lions. I always do they play Thursdays like sometimes. I think I did like two anthems for them for Thursday Night Football, and then I did a dope Barry Sanders tribute.
Okay.
And it's a dude that used to work with the Lions that had everything lined up. Like, yo, when the season started, it's on. And then he moved on from the Lions. So it was like, dang. But yeah, I want to make some music for the Lions. I feel like I could make some I got songs right now that, you know, if anybody from the Lions is watching, I have songs right now, tons of them, produced by the Olympics and everything. Like, it's crazy records that could go. You know what I'm saying? Social media, in stadium joints. Like, I'm fully prepared. If they was to hit me right now, I would be like, let's go. Okay, I got it. Let's go.
All right, man. Look, real quick. How much is it gonna cost? You know, Adam's in the producer booth with the checkbook. How much is it gonna cost for some Woodward sports music?
Oh, that's the love. Y'all just got to give me some apparel or something. I show the love for Woodward sports.
I think Adam can make apparel happen.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, that's all. That's all day.
What colors you want?
Yeah, right. Nah, for sure. It's all love. You know, especially with y'all here. You know, it's all love, and we go way back, man.
So I want to, you know. We talked about the career, and we're gonna get back into that in a second. But you know what we got to talk about right now?
What?
Michigan football. And now
we're gonna talk about Michigan basketball too, though, right?
Oh, we're gonna talk about both.
Okay,
we're gonna talk about both. But you know, we gotta get some controversy going in here. And as much as I know that PL is a big Dallas Mavericks fan, I think when it comes to rappers, I don't think that there is a bigger Michigan fan of all Michigan athletics than you.
I haven't met many. I mean,
the man has it tattooed on his hand.
You feel me?
So they probably ain't gonna front. They probably like in a little Michigan State locker room. They probably got your face on like a dartboard or something like that too. Like
dartboard.
Yeah. You probably put Emmy #1 over there, man.
Yeah, man.
So we gonna talk about how good the basketball program is. Because we got to say that for the high, to get back to the high note. But let's go down a little bit. What you thinking about what's going on with Harbaugh and the program up there right now?
Okay, so look, I have an interesting take on this, man.
Okay, here we go.
I'm not gonna say who it was, but did you guys read the interview where the player basically was saying I'm not gonna say the player, maybe y'all. Okay. He was basically saying like, yo, it's not us. we're nice, we're good. You should watch our practices. Like we're nuts. We don't feel like we're gonna lose when we play Ohio State or Michigan State. Anybody, we feel like we're nuts. But then as time goes by, we start to look at someone else. You know what I'm saying? He said this. Do y'all know who I'm talking about?
I don't know.
Okay.
If you don't want to put his name on there,
I don't want to say it.
Okay, we save that off the camera.
But he basically said this, and it was like, yo, like the culture in the locker room is the most important thing. It's the most telling thing of all. So if the culture in the locker room is seemingly cool between the players, do the math. Now, I will say that Jim Harbaugh is a person that you can't just get rid of. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially based on how they brung him in.
Yeah.
Man, they not about to just can, dog. If anything, he gonna have to leave on his own merit before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think with Jim, it's like from where they were with Rich Rod and then going to Brady Hoke, even though Harbaugh's record is not as great as you would like it to be against top 25 teams, he still has Michigan back in the conversation.
Yeah. If you look at the overall record.
Yeah, if you look at the overall picture, Michigan is back in the conversation, and you pull him out, you better, I don't know what home run you can make right now to build the program back up.
Yeah, and I mean, essentially that's what I think that player was saying, you know. And then if you think about it, like, if they did pull the plug on Harbaugh, like, they're not even prepared to bring someone in there that would do as good or better. It's like it's like you with the finest girl in the world, but you know she ain't doing everything you need her to do. What you gonna do? You gonna leave her or just stick with her because it ain't nobody colder? Was that trash?
It ain't trash, but it's reality. It's reality,
legit, man.
It's just the reality.
Jim Harbaugh is the finest girl in the world for Michigan, and they can't leave her because who else they gonna get?
Damn.
Hey, you know what?
Damn.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand, definitely.
And until a hotter chick comes around.
Yeah, but where is she?
Where is she? We don't know where you're gonna find her from, but until Michigan finds a hotter chick, they stuck.
Yeah.
But you talked about not being prepared to
Hold on. Shout out Quiddy Pay, though. I just want to shout out Quiddy.
Definitely.
And Jalen Mayfield. Them boys about to ball.
You know what's crazy? My man's he even though he went to Texas, Tariq now with Quiddy too over at the Colts.
Yes.
So that's gonna be that. I'm just even though they play opposite sides of the ball, Pats and Colts, they love some Michigan guys.
They're a Michigan pipeline over there in Indianapolis, man. I'm starting to kind of see that a little bit.
Yeah, it's feeling like that.
I'm starting to see that
Man,
a
listen,
little bit.
and that's I'm telling y'all, man, you can't deny it's great athletes coming out of Michigan, bro.
And we got a very, very, very special guest today. I've been trying to get this guy for the longest. Last time I reached out to him. He was a bit busy. Now, remember when I was doing that work with Bedrock Collector and King Coley? They came through and he dropped the shoe that he did. And I'm like, yo, that's fire. Did the interview with Bedrock, and then he kind enough to reshare the clips, and now we got him on. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you introduce him.
Man, first of all, this is the inaugural up, down champion.
Yep. Put respect on that.
Appreciate that, no problem. But also incredible costume designer, former wrestler.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Makazi, what's going on, man?
What's going on, man? Glad you guys. I was finally able to make it on. I know the last time we talked was like back in November.
Yeah,
it was a while back, and I know I've been trying to get on the show for a while, but I'm finally glad that we're able to link up and do this because I've been looking forward to this for a while.
Oh man, thank you. We've been dipping and dabbling hard into this wrestling world. Interviewed Eric Bischoff twice, and it was like we got to go ahead and start racking these up. And then just gracious and glad that you were able to step in and jump on the Woodward Sports Network with us. So let's go ahead and get right into it. You talked about you want to get into the wrestling career?
Yes, do it. Chaotic champion, heavyweight champion, chaotic wrestling.
Yeah, so I mean, I started wrestling back at, like, I started training back in 2000. That's when I was just like going from junior to senior year of high school. And as soon as I graduated high school, I went to broadcasting school and just hopped on the road and just started, like, getting experience in wrestling and traveling, doing whatever. And like about 2005, 2006, when I started working for Chaotic. And hold up, I just got a antivirus thing on my computer.
Oh no, that's not good.
So I started working at Chaotic, and I worked there from like 2005, 2006, all the way up to 2012 when I moved from Massachusetts to Florida. But yeah, I won the New England Championship there, the Chaotic Heavyweight Championship. I won a couple cruiserweight titles up in the Northeast. I was mainly a Northeast guy.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So I gotta ask you this: How? I know you was a WWE at one point, and you went by Rutherford Hayes. What was? First off, did you come up with that name, or was that pitched to you? Like, where did Rutherford Hayes come from?
So I was an extra that night, and me and one of the other guys, we wrestled Ryback, and it was Willard Fillmore and Rutherford P.S. Hayes. And I mean, it's a presidential like connection there, but I know the PS is in there because of Michael P.S. Hayes.
Yeah.
So I think it was just the writers making themselves laugh, which I'm all for. Like, get me on TV, put me in front of, like, on Monday Night Raw, like, I'm game for that.
Now, can you walk us through your underground scene? Like, how hard was it to break onto Raw from wrestling in the underground in the Indies?
So I mean, what happened back then when we were still traveling, like, WWE would come into the area and they would, pull out feelers to different wrestling schools or whatnot, or different local wrestlers, and they would bring them on as extras. The way I got on just happened to be that Chaotic, one of the places I wrestled, they had a good connection with WWE. So whenever WWE was in town, they would always, hit up Chaotic and get some of their wrestlers to be on there. And that one, I just happened to be one of the guys they brought in. And then when we got there, they were doing the whole Ryback versus two locals segment. I'm 5'6", so I'm smaller. So, it looked good, him beating up two small guys. So I was one of the guys they picked. It also happened that I was friends with, like, Johnny Curtis or Fandango and Kofi and stuff like that. So a lot of them went to bat for me. I said, yo, this guy, like, he'll do whatever you need and he'll make it look good and all that stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much just when they're in the area, just build that relationship, get that connection, and hopefully they bring you in.
Now, I read that somewhere around that time you had retired from entering competition due to an injury. Is that something you're comfortable talking about? Because I couldn't really see they didn't say what the injury was from our research.
Well, I never really actually retired.
Okay.
So the last time I wrestled was, I want to say, February 2015.
Okay.
It was I had a tag match in NXT. It was me and Jason Jordan versus the Vaudevillains. I did sustain a little injury there. There might be 45 seconds of my life that I don't remember. But, just a little, but no residual effects. I was fine. Everything was okay. But that's not necessarily what stopped me from wrestling. What stopped me was I started working for WWE as a costume designer about 2 weeks beforehand. And ever since then, I've just been so busy with that. And I've been, like, so excited about doing that. I just haven't had time to train and wrestle. Like, even to this day, I still have I could go wrestle if I wanted to. I literally don't have the time to.
Ooh, man. So them designs must be coming down the woodworks like person after person, right?
It's literally, like, say right now, if I wasn't doing this and making the time to record this, I'd be in my little office or workshop working. Like, it just doesn't stop unless I forcibly tell myself, hey, take some time for yourself and relax. Because
I get that.
Costumes, they just keep coming and coming and coming.
Now, was that a skill that you, like, had when you were a kid, or is that something like when you picked up as you were in the indie scene, you were making your own stuff?
So when I was wrestling, or when I started wrestling, like I said, I was still in high school. So back then, the Hardy Boys were huge, and I used to watch their videotape Leap of Faith all the time. And there's a segment on there where we would show Matt making all their old wrestling gear, and I was like, yo, if Matt could do it, like, I'm sure I could do it too. So my senior year of high school, I took a sewing class, and they basically just taught me how to use a machine and gave me some basics. And then it was just years of just trial and error, figuring it out. If I decided I wanted to wear long tights, I would just practice, buy some fabric, make myself some long tights. And once I felt like it was good enough, I would tell people, yo, I know how to make this now. Oh, do I know how to make this now? And it just slowly just snowballed.
Now, seeing you make designs for Ruby Riott, Ronda Rousey, of course, Sasha Banks. Um, has there been a design that you just immediately knew, like once you made it, like, man, I crushed this one, like I killed it?
It's weird because like I feel like that almost every time. Like I get done with something, I'm like, yo, this looks dope. Or like I'll be putting together two fabrics that you wouldn't necessarily think would go together. And then all of a sudden it comes out and you're like, all right, yeah, that's it. That's it right there. Like one of my favorites is the white and tiger print gear that I made for Sasha when she wrestled Ronda at Royal Rumble, just because it was a throwback to some gear I made her when she was on the Indies. So it was a nice way of like taking this old design and then just redoing it and elevating it and making it TV worthy. So that's one that I'm really proud of.
Dope. That's dope. I'm part of a wrestling group, and I told him I was interviewing you, so I have a couple of questions from him.
All right, I'm game.
Her name is Chelsea Spolin. She asked, "How long does it take to plan and create gear for big events like Mania? And do the wrestlers get to choose which gear marks from WWE staff to work with them? You know, like
so I usually start taking like all my orders and all the stuff getting ready for mid-January. And usually after mid-January, after the Royal Rumble's over, we usually do a cutoff. And that's like, all right, now I got to start working on WrestleMania stuff. But for some of my clientele that they're always ordering from me, I'm taking care of them through all the different pay-per-views in between. So essentially from Rumble to Mania, I'm slowly interjecting WrestleMania stuff in there while taking care of like other gear. And then once like Fastlane hits, then it's just 24/7 just working on gear until the night after WrestleMania.
Okay.
And then as far as people ordering gear, like everybody has their own gear. People, the guys, me and the two ladies that I work with backstage who are like incredible with what they do. Like literally any legendary set of gear you can think of, chances are they made it. Nice. And like they do an incredible job, but like we can only do so much. So some of the guys have their own outside people that they go to get all their gear from as well.
Real quick before Ant goes into the reading, the second question, just the ballpark range, how much do those ring attires usually cost? I know Ric Flair's robes cost up in the couple of thousands. Usually how much does ring attire go for like that?
Well, so like it depends, like because it's such a varied look. Like you're not gonna it's hard to give a ballpark figure because when I make Kevin Owens' shorts, it's not going to cost the same as when I make Sasha's tights because you look at, they're just two completely different. So it usually depends on style of gear, how much appliques and how much extra stuff is going into it, time that it takes. So it's literally just based off of, okay, what kind of gear do you want and how elaborate do you want it?
Nice. And this is from Chelsea again. She just wanted to know she wanted to know the process that went to Sasha's Mania gear. That's like her favorite gear for in a minute. I'm
particularly proud of that one because when we went into it, the whole idea was let's do something that they've never seen you in before. Let's just make it out. The goal is to, when you walk out there, they're like, oh, like I've never seen her look like that. And so like the inspiration behind it was, I don't know, there's this, if you go on like Instagram or something, there's this designer, his name is Zygmunt, and he does a lot of stuff with like crisscrossing straps and stuff like that. And Sasha's like enamored with all his stuff. So that's where we took inspiration from. But essentially the whole idea was it can't look like, it has to look like your style clothes, but it has to look completely different than anything Sasha's ever worn before. So nice. I think we accomplished that. I don't know what y'all think, but
oh no, it was fire.
Very dope, very dope. Okay, one more question for you. This is from Andre Barrett. He said, you want to know like about the wrestlers like cosplay when they incorporate like different designs in it? Like, do you have to get some sort of clearance? Like say like somebody came in there like with like Johnny Gargano, for example, when he comes in with the Wolverine and everything else. He just wanted to know like there's any like clearance or anything like that you have to get approved.
Well, so what I will say is a lot of times those wrestlers are like, I'll say sorry later. But like, it's one of those things like, so it's hard because when you do stuff that's licensed and stuff that, and you don't have clearance, it's not something that's in contention with something that the program that you're doing with that company. like you can't do anything with those photos. You can't do anything with those videos. So a lot of times you're not going to see like promotional footage or pictures with that person in that gear because there's a licensing behind it that you can't use. So that's why like sometimes Ricochet had the Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Yeah, I
Johnny
remember.
has all his Marvel stuff, and a lot of times you won't actually see like promotional pictures and stuff with them in that gear. So it's all a matter of, just not getting sued.
Got you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now I had a question. This is a fan. This is as a fan question. I was watching some old clips of you, and I know you probably got this question before. That four fatal four-way intergender match when you gave Sasha that deadly kick. How in the world do you go from that to where you guys are now?
So, I mean, what I will say is when you're in a ring, like especially as a wrestler, you want to do what's best for the match,
Right.
And I remember when we did that match, essentially we laid it out as Mercedes is so much smaller than all of us that realistically, if she's in there going at it beginning to end, it's not going to look as realistic. So we said, you know what, let's have her just light us up in the beginning, just taking us all out, bam, 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 and then eventually I'll take her out with one crazy shot, make it look good, and then it's feasible for her to get taken out from that moment on.
Yeah, she sold
That's
the
how
shit
we
out
laid
of
it
that
out.
one too.
She did. She definitely did. That was a hell of a sell.
Yeah, like so Mojo, he literally has that video saved on his phone. And he always brings it up, and then every time I call him, it pops up as Surratt, who kicked his wife in the face.
That's just petty. That's just petty as hell. Now, let's get into the real meat. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Everything. As we said before, I want to get into the first collaboration you did. You used like a mix of the Boston versus Detroit style, and here in Detroit, it was at the Foot Locker community store. Can you talk about how that collaboration came about and your thought process of designing that shoe?
So that collaboration came about because Marcus, who's Bedrock Collector, is a huge wrestling fan, and Foot Locker ran a program with a lot of their store managers, where 8 managers, won the opportunity to design their own shoe. He brought it up to Foot Locker or the Foot Locker rep about possibly doing a wrestling related shoe. He said he really wanted to do one with Sasha Banks, and the rep was like, I actually think I can make that happen. So I got the call from John, and the minute he's brought it up, I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. Like me, I'm a sneakerhead. So the minute I got the opportunity to design a shoe, like I was all for it. And so when I was talking to Marcus and John, we dabbled with the idea of like Detroit versus everybody. That's the whole that was the whole basis of everything. So we're like, all right, let's do Detroit versus everybody. Let's do Detroit versus Boston. So I landed on the idea of doing 2 separate shoes that kind of represent the cities and what's good about them. But then when you put them together, they come together and like it almost like unites us as one. Originally, I wanted to do the design as a big mural. I don't know if you remember the old Echo shoes. It's like the white shoes, and they had like the rhino drawing on the side.
Oh yeah.
So I wanted to kind of do like a something like that, or a mural, kind of like if you would go to the hood, you'd see like a Kobe mural or like a Tupac mural, something like that represented the cities. And then when you put them together, they would make one big mural. What happened was we couldn't really, with that shoe, it was a matter of taking apart the shoe, doing what we needed to do to it, and putting it back together. So we couldn't really do what we wanted to. So then I said, you know what, let's try taking everybody on a journey through each person's respective city and the things they love about that city. And so I had picked all these different landmarks and monuments I wanted to use on there. And some of them got cleared, some of them didn't. So we had to keep changing them. But the whole idea was, if you look at those old like kids treasure maps, it's like, just follow the dotted line. Yeah, that's what I wanted to. I just basically want to take everybody on a journey through the city and just see the little things that, make that city famous. And then when you put them together, it looked like it made one big map and it joined both cities together. Like, again, on the Detroit shoe, like whenever I'm in Detroit, I love going to like American Coney and Lafayette. So I had to put that on.
Oh, yeah.
I tried to put like the Joe Louis monument on there. I don't remember if we got it on there, or if it didn't clear, but a lot of the things that are on there, because 1, we were able to get them cleared, and 2, like they were respective to those cities.
Hey, I gotta tell you this. I was trying to get the shoe from Marcus. He was like, "Hey, bro, you got to come in during this time." I'm like, "Man, look, I got to be on air," and I didn't get it. It's cool, not mad. But you have a new shoe coming out, new collaboration coming out next couple of days, and talk to us about that because I did read a bit about it, and one of my friends, she has a brother that is autistic. So when I sent her the your Instagram post, she was just really like, "Oh my God, I gotta go grab these." So can you talk to us about your shoe that's coming out next couple of days?
All right. So yeah, the shoe that came out that's coming out. It drops on April 27th. It's going to be available at footlocker.com, footaction.com, and champsports.com. It was done in collaboration with Diadora, which, Diadora is huge all over the world. In America, you probably know it by like soccer cleats or indoor soccer clothing, things like that. But so basically I took their endpoint 9002 model and refashioned it and redesigned it to what I liked. And essentially, I got one right here.
Oh, nice.
The whole idea I had behind this shoe is I wanted it to be like I was bringing two sides of a personality together. So if you look at it, like the front end is black and white, very just, casual. It can go with anything you want to wear. The back end is colorful. It's got the multicolored puzzle piece, which is synonymous with autism. And this is like live pieces of a personality coming together and becoming one. And one of my favorite things about the shoe is on the front. It's going to be hard to see because I think the lights are washing it out, but there's a embossed puzzle piece going throughout the white leather. And because we did the embossed puzzle pieces, none of these patterns are the same on any shoe. So essentially every single shoe is unique to itself. And I thought that spoke really well to, what we were trying to tell. Like everyone, man, woman, child is unique in this world. And that's what the shoe represents. And it got brought to me because my brother-in-law is autistic and like, I love him to death. He's an amazing, amazing kid, Joshua. Like he's just the most fun-loving guy in the world, just full of life, full of heart. And after the last shoe I did with Marcus and Sasha sold out in 25 minutes, the Foot Locker rep, knowing that my brother-in-law was autistic, asked me if I wanted to hop on this project. And it was no brainer at all. And, the difficulties they have in that community and just trying to bring support and things like that to that nature. That's what I wanted to do. And it turns out that Foot Locker and Diadora, 100% of the proceeds for this shoe is going to Autism Speaks. So no one's making any money off it. It's just going to help bring, knowledge and awareness to the community.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's fire, man. So sneakerhead. I'm a sneakerhead as well.
Yep.
So I always ask sneakerheads this question. Your all-time favorite pair of shoes.
That's what we get for technology.
Yeah. Too reliant on that times, man, but I get it. But you said the Jordan 12s, black and white.
Yeah, the Jordan 12 black and white. So I was watching, back when I was younger, I watched The Sixth Man with Marlon Wayans and Kadeem Hardison.
Oh, yeah.
And there's that scene, I want to say it's like right after something happens with Marlon and the girl, and then he's walking away and he has the Jordans on. I remember seeing them. I was just like, those are fire. And like back in the day, I was young, growing up in the projects, didn't have no money. So like, could never afford them. But like, those were always the shoes that I want. I'm still to this day, I've yet to buy like the actual mids. I got the lows, but I need to buy the mids. But yeah, nowadays I'm one of those people that like, I'm not necessarily a Jordan guy or an Air Force One guy. Like I usually buy shoes either that I can wear with every outfit, or I can only wear with like one or two outfits. Usually no in between. So
same here. Like I think I got like about 80 pairs now, and it's just been.
I used to have like so many pairs because when I was 15, one of my first jobs was I worked in the stockroom at Foot Action, and I just worked there for a few years, and I would buy shoes all the time. So eventually, I had just so many pairs of shoes. And then when we moved to Florida, we just had no room in that one bedroom apartment. So I had to get rid of like half my collection. I had to get rid of like half my DVD collection. So it pains me.
I'm about to say, was that a heartbreaking moment?
Yeah, but like now that I look back at it, I'm like, I didn't really need that many shoes, but it's just one of those things where like it hurt to let it go.
Yeah, because I moved. I recently just moved, and I turned to like a storeroom. I turned that into like my shoe room. It was just like, man, it was just everywhere, and I'm like, I don't have any rooms. I just got to put them in here. And basically,
do you have like one of those plastic cubbies that you see on like Instagram that they are like little shoe?
I'm about to get those actually. They're just expensive right now, so things are ridiculous. I think it was like $15 for one or something like that. So it's just I gotta build some money up for that.
Yeah. No, it's nowadays, like if I look at my shoe collection, like it's starting to come back up a little more because I've been working with Foot Locker a lot more on stuff. And it's like, I mean, I have like maybe 10 pairs of sneakers in my closet that I haven't worn yet. And I'm just waiting for the right time. Like
that's how it always is, man.
Yeah.
It's just how it always is. I'm like, do I want to break them out today? No, let me wait a little bit.
So like I got a pair of denim Reebok Classics that I probably had for like a year and a half that I haven't touched yet that I'm waiting to put out. I actually have a pair of Batman Chuck Taylors that I got those in 2003, and they're not even laced up. They're just in the box, still sitting there. So,
man, I got some Lionel Thundercat Pumas that just came out. I haven't worn yet.
Really?
Yes.
They have Thundercat Pumas.
Yes, they do.
He's about to end the interview.
Oh my God.
But I mean, you.